Hi, welcome to another episode of the Magic Hour. I'm your host, Majid and Dairy. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Majid and Dairy and or at my Instagram page at Fame Film Agency. My guest today for the second time around is Melak.
Hi.
Hi,
How
how
you
you
going?
doing? Thanks for
Good.
joining us. All right. And before we get started, I just have to ask you the following question.
Mm.
Did you bring a beeper or a pager with you?
I might have actually.
Okay, now we get rid of that shit. All right. I mean, I could not believe my ears when I heard the news about how thousands of pages in Lebanon just all went off simultaneously, killed a bunch of them. They say they were targeting Hezbollah, but these are pages and beepers.
Mm.
You know that's available from anybody to consume that purchase these items.
The people that use pages commonly are healthcare workers.
Well,
That is
that's a
even
scary thought.
even here, even in Australia, healthcare workers. My friends who are nurses in the medical field, everyone uses pages within the hospital, within when they're on call. So pages are very commonly used
You know,
for healthcare workers, and Israel loves to kill them, as we've seen.
well, okay. First of all, I thought pages had become a dead technology, but that's besides the point. But what terrified me, like, how scary is this notion, right? That like they have weaponized electronics that are available to citizens, civilians, who've got who have no agenda of what's going on right now. They just want to live their lives just like you and I are living our lives. You know what I mean? And the scary thing is, what's to stop Israel to stop there? Like, how do we know that they haven't infiltrated or have connections in throughout the world in places of electronics? Like, you want to purchase a television, and a lot of people now purchase things online. They don't go to the stores as much as they used to. They purchase online. Right? How do we know that they don't have some kind of data, some kind of computer that's saying, "Oh, look, we got orders from the Middle East." Now these are regular people, but they're orders from the Middle East, from people are ordering from Syria, people are ordering from Lebanon, people are ordering from Jordan. All
Yeah.
right. Now, who's to say that because they are documenting what is being ordered and where it's going to, they won't hide explosives in there and detonate it the day of the delivery or the day after delivery? How do we know now that Arabs are safe? Because they're targeting specifically Arabs. They're not doing this around throughout the world.
It's not just Arabs. No, this is where we need to understand what the plan is. So we just had Land Forces in Victoria happen and the protest that went with it. So Land Forces is a weapons expo where all these I don't want to swear. These
Sorry, do whatever you want. This could be R-rated. It's fine.
disgusting companies coming in and displaying all of their weaponry with the tagline of tested on the ground or ground tested. And you ask them, like, where was this tested? It's in Gaza, it's in Palestine, it's in the Middle East, it's in the Arab world. So they test these technologies. When you go on, we watched a documentary a while ago, and the director was saying, you might be wondering how I had these still footage of buildings before they've been bombed and after they've been bombed with full reports. She goes, they exist online from these weapon companies. They test the weapons over there and then they sell them to other governments that they get to use them across the world. What you saw just then, this was Israel testing this weapon on the Lebanese people. This technology is gonna get sold. This whole thing being spread across the media, the Australian media, he's celebrating it, saying thumbs up. They put a photo of someone being blown up at the front of the advertiser. That was front page and they were celebrating it.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw a little article.
When you start manufacturing consent to saying they're all terrorists, everyone with a pager. We saw the videos. It was people in supermarkets.
Yeah.
People in the shops, that these are normal people living their everyday life.
Well, the thing is that it's very easy for them to call them terrorists because the Western world is racist. It's that simple. I can't state it any further than that. They are racist. They dislike Arabs. In fact, they hate them. They hate them with such impunity that they don't want us to exist. They don't want us to live the kind of life that they're living. How the hatred for Arabs manifested over the years, it's just it's downright disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when America was going, when America was going through slavery, right? How much they detested the black people, how much they mistreated black people. At least some of them, I'm not saying a lot, at least some of them had good relationships with them. There were some people that actually treated their slaves nicely.
this is
better,
this is
but I know, but
no.
But
This is
the thing is that what I'm saying is the amount of hatred, right? I mean, it's because what did they used to do to black people if they got out of line? You know, they used to whip them, they used to kill them, they used to hang them, right? And they were happy about it. They would say, yes, I did this and I killed him and I did this and I'm proud, all right? And they were happy about it. How different is that kind of treatment? What I'm saying is the treatment. Now, Arabs, of course, obviously, are not slaves, but we are ignored. Like, you know, like when we did crimes like that to black people in the day in America, they were ignored. They weren't, people didn't go after those that killed them. It was natural. It was normal. They're normalizing murdering
this is
Arabs.
genocide. What you just
But it's becoming
described.
normalized. Because what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
people are saying, Israel, we have to condemn them and we have to stop them from the genocide to get away from the genocide. They've already gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, saying like there was a nice slave master is like saying now there's a nice Zionist.
That's my point.
Like
Exactly right.
no, it doesn't exist. This concept does not. There's no nice Zionist. What's nice about you? There's nice Zionist doctors. Things like this don't align. Saying that there was nice slave masters, that did not exist. And like we said last time, to explain this Holocaust, it doesn't have to be compared to anything else. The 200, 300 years of Black and African slavery in North America, the genocide of the indigenous population in North America, 200 million people wiped out. That is the genocide that's not spoken about.
Yeah.
But we are seeing something else. We have technology involved nowadays. We have things exploring people's pockets. These companies, when we talk about the effect, what you're describing, the comparable things of all these things is genocide, capitalism, and white supremacy. All of these things. Slave masters did not look at black people as humans. They were cattle to them.
Exactly,
They bred
okay.
them like cattle. So there was a level of dehumanization, and that's what we've seen with the Arabs. We said it last time. They don't look at us the same way that the labels that they've made us give ourselves, the Sunni, the Shia, the Christian, the Muslim, they look at us all the same. It's been a blatant dehumanization of us. So when they put us in the front of their newspapers with our heads blown up, their people would not riot. It's so normalized.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. White
Did this
supremacy-
happen with the Ukrainians?
No, of course not, because they're white.
Did this happen with the Russians?
Not because they're white. That's what I'm saying. See, white supremacy has not died down or changed at all. All they did was like they rebranded themselves.
Rebranding.
You know what I mean?
It's a new campaign.
instead of just saying it out, let's get these freaking sand niggers. Instead of just saying it like that, which they would have said 100 years ago and it would have been okay.
Yeah.
Right? They're just saying they're all terrorists now. Even newborn Palestinian baby, they're going to grow up to be terrorists. So it's not a crime to murder them. It's not a crime to kill them. We're doing justice in the future because they're going to grow up and whatever. It's like a scene from The Godfather, you know, when one of the mafia bosses killed one of the people.
I've never watched The Godfather.
Oh, you haven't? I'll explain to you one of the scenes, like in The Godfather Part 2, right? Where the mother she's afraid for her child because the mafia boss just killed her husband and her oldest son. And now he wants to kill the youngest son because he's afraid that he's going to grow up and want revenge. You know what I mean? So it's like saying, we're going to kill these young ones now just in case they grow up and want revenge and well, of course they're going to want revenge. You know, what choice have you left them? You've taken away their homes. You've taken away their families. You've blown up their schools. They're not going to have any education. They're only going to have two goals: to stay alive and to get something back. You know?
And that's human nature.
Well, it is. It is.
How do you expect someone, like you've said, you've described they've lost all the above. There was a video that came out of Gaza, literally what you just described, of someone looking at this child next to him. He goes, I'm his uncle. This child's entire family is wiped away. He goes, how do you expect this kid to grow up and love Israelis?
You can't.
How do you expect this child not to grow up and resist this oppression? He has no family, no home, no future in the middle of this genocide. We don't even know if this kid is alive anymore.
Of course.
How do you expect these people to grow up and not have some sort of hateful... You've given them nothing. You have no other choice but to feel this way.
And to learn that from a very young age, do you know how psychologically damaging that is? You know, like it wasn't long ago, maybe about 2 months ago, there was this video about this man, Palestinian father, right, who had twin children, right? And 2 days later, the twin children and his wife that gave birth died. So he went to the office where he wanted to collect the birth certificate. He collected the birth certificate and the death certificate on the same freaking day. And his children weren't born. They weren't alive for 2 days. They were 2 days old before they got killed. and this man is broken. You see the videos of him; he is broken. The entire community of people were just trying to literally raise him up from the ground because he was a broken man. He lost 2 kids and his wife 2 days after she gave birth, right? And to go to the office to collect, because they said, come get your birth certificate, pick up the birth certificate for your kids. And he goes, yeah, okay, no problem, I'll be there. 2 days later, he went and bang, he had to pick up the death certificate on the same day. That was just freaking devastating. I mean, now he's an elderly gentleman. He's in like late 30s, okay? But what has he got left? He's got nothing. He has nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It is his duty as a human being, not as an Arab, not as an Asian, not as anything, as a human being, right, to seek
Justice.
He needs to have salvation. He needs something to free him from this pain, from this hurt, and even if it will cost him his life. He's already, in my opinion, all Palestinians, sadly, at this point, they're all dead. The alive ones are dead because they are facing death every single day. They've got nothing to lose. They are already dead people, all right? Because no one is doing anything to stop this, all right? We keep hearing about how the Americans are working tirelessly to get a ceasefire and to stop and to try to make deals. And what do? They invade Lebanon. They invade Lebanon. Like fighting Hamas and causing all this is not enough. They want to expand the war. They want to expand the war onto the region of the Middle East. It's not like it's no longer he wants to change Palestine to make Israel bigger. It's like they want to change the whole region.
He's got that map. That was the proposal that he put out in the UN in 2022.
How fucking ridiculous.
And this is what why did people not take him seriously? Why did all these governments not take... Hamas were the only people that took him seriously. The resistance group, they saw that they had no other choice. You said it. They were already dead. And if you have nothing to lose, when you know you're dead, you fight.
That's your impulse. That's your natural instinct.
That is your instinct. That's your land. That's your people. That is our instinct as people that have been fought these regimes for generations. And the Palestinians have been proven time and time again as an example for all of us to say, we can fight them. These people are fighting back. The Israelis are losing on the ground. They're losing anyway. Invading Lebanon is a desperate tactic. They're very desperate. They're losing. Their own ministry is coming out and Netanyahu comes out and says, we are winning. His own generals are coming out and say, we are not winning.
Yeah.
They speak to the media privately, like the soldiers on the ground say, we are not winning. We keep losing.
The debate called it was an hour debate called Open to Debate between Mehdi Hassan and Elon Levi.
Yeah.
All right. And Hassan Mehdi just tore this guy a new asshole. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, everything this guy had to say, it backfired on him completely. Right. And he's saying the most ridiculous things. The Israeli spokesperson, we are the most moral army. Right. We are sick and tired of running into our bomb shelters every time Hezbollah fires rockets. And then Mehdi turns down and goes, well, Lebanon doesn't have any freaking bomb shelters. What about that family that Israel just recently killed? They blew up a residential area that had this family in it. Right? They didn't run to a bomb shelter. Right? At least you have the privilege of having a bomb shelter. Right? And they were clearly stating that at least Hezbollah, when they're attacking, they're not attacking your civilians now, are they?
Yeah.
They're attacking your military bases. They're attacking strategical targets. Right? You are just attacking everyone. They're trying to convince the world, right, that all Lebanese people in Lebanon, civilians, right, they are being used as a human shield by Hezbollah because Hezbollah are putting rockets in all residential areas, right? And Netanyahu made this speech, we are at war with Hezbollah, not with you Lebanese, but please flee for now because war is coming, right? Until we deal with it, and then you can safely return home. Safe return home to what? You're just saying you're going to blow up all of these places that they live in because you think that there's these supposed rockets in all of these residential areas. So you want to bomb the shit out of all of it and then say, come back home. To what? To rubble. And Mehdi just was on this guy the entire time and he was getting applause constantly. The other guy wasn't getting booed because there was instructions from the host. There will be no booing. We're going to respect both sides. So no booing. You can cheer if you hear a good point, but no booing. But you can just feel from the crowd they want to hiss at this guy. You know, they just want to boo because every word that came out of his mouth was a vile lie. You know, just to push that narrative. I mean, how dumb do they want to continue for the people to believe they are dumb? How long do you want to continue pushing?
This is what
that
they're
lie?
trying.
You know, I mean,
This is
how
what
long
they're
are you like? It's like, you know, when you tell a child a little white lie just to spare his feelings. You know what I mean? You tell him a little white lie and he'll believe it. All right. And then when he gets older, you have to be a bit more clever with the lie so you can continue for him to believe it because he's actually getting smarter now. You don't want him to outsmart
Critical
you.
thinking,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean? Because now, and then he gets to an age, oh shit, the most dangerous thing ever. He's starting to think for himself. So now I have to be even more elaborate with my lie. Okay? And then finally the kid figures it out and he goes like, Dad, seriously? You've been lying to me this whole fucking time? All right, you made me believe this when actually it was that. You know, that is what's happening now with the people, right? I mean, how much longer they're trying to be more creative with their lies, but now they're trying to really enforce it with violence with their lies. Believe us, believe us, believe us. You know what I mean? We're telling the truth, and they're doing everything they can. Like, it's a law. You know, it's illegal. They're trying to push. They're trying to make the Republicans pass a law to make it illegal to criticize Israel.
That's insane. That's land of the free, apparently.
I feel sorry for people who have jobs as a movie critic or a music critic or a critic. Right? I mean, might as well take that away. You know, the whole point to analyze certain things and to discuss certain things is to also criticize those certain things. You know what I mean? Not to criticize a race of people. I mean, how
are you, as a foreign government, you are meant to be separate from Israel. You are an independent sovereign nation. How are you putting in your own laws against your own citizens, sorry, that they cannot criticize a foreign government?
Sorry, no problem. See, I mean, sorry, continue.
It's just ridiculous. It's that you're silencing your own citizens, not to not criticize you. Like, that's the crazy part. They can speak about Biden, about their own presidents. That's completely fine. But you're preventing. And how are the Americans not clicking? How are you not clicking? Like, something is not right here.
Control. Money and control. It's money and control. The money must be so good, they'll just say, fine. As long as you just keep giving me what I want, fine. You can fuck me in the ass. As long as I've got this, it's fine.
Literally.
Right?
That's all of them.
The Pentagon is America's gigantic anus, right? And Israel is just fucking away. All right? That's what's going on. And you know what? You know what the sick part is? They managed to convince the USA that getting fucked in the ass by Israel is what's best for them. And they're doing it with a smile. Like, yay! You know what I mean? All right? They will never be able to click because they've been too controlled. Right? Money is too great. They have been controlled in a big way. And Israel have positioned themselves in places of power throughout the globe. It's not just happening in the US.
Yeah.
Right? Look what's happening in the UK.
Yeah,
right?
everywhere.
All right?
Everywhere.
And even here in Australia, I still remember, like a year ago, Australia made the announcement that we no longer recognize Israel, we recognize Palestine. 2 days later, they retracted that statement.
It wasn't we no longer recognize Israel. Like, it wasn't even that far. They were considering recognizing Palestine.
There you go.
Like, it wasn't even, oh my God. They would never not recognize Israel. Like, that will be the final point.
Where's their backbone? Where are
There's
their
no
balls?
backbone. That's the
Where are their balls? Where's their courage?
Nothing.
Right?
It died in 1975 in this country. Don't worry.
It's gone. Right? And what does that say to the Palestinian Australians that live here? Right? Or even Arab Australians that live here? I mean, because, you know, as Arabs, I'm Lebanese, right? You're Iraqi, right? Palestinians, Jordanians, whatever, they are our brothers and sisters. Even if we don't agree politically with certain things, they are still our brothers and sisters.
Humans are humans.
You know, they are us. They are us. We you know, I mean, like if it happened to Lebanon, which it has many times, you know, we hear sympathy from our neighbors of what's going on, right? Because if it can happen to them, then it can happen to us, and it will.
And you know what? That's what I actually want to talk about. Arab arrogance, but human arrogance in general. When Iraq was invaded, there was 1 million Iraqi refugees in Syria. Syria became a safe haven. My own uncle, my dad's brother, ended up being a refugee in Syria because He had a better job. His family was safer there. That wasn't a time for us just to leave yet. So 1 million Iraqi refugees were in Syria. Syria was not touched. They were living their life, tourism booming, one of the best places in that region. Years later, millions of Syrian refugees ruined. Syria is ruined. Look what Israel is doing to them. Like the arrogance of, oh, it's never going to be us. It'll never be us. Lebanon, same thing. Syrian refugees moved into Lebanon as refugees. Now it's happening to Lebanon. It hasn't stopped in Palestine. It'll be Jordan next. It'll be Qatar next. Any of these nations, the arrogance that they think that America will not get them next, the Europeans will not get them next. This is that we need to all get together and say, actually, you know what? These government, fuck the Arab government. These Arab monarchs, oh my God, the Saudis. King Abdullah has a very special spot on my guillotine list for the end of the revolution.
Yeah.
The Zionists, the Arab Zionists, are worse than the Israeli Zionists.
Of course, they're worse.
They're worse because they
Zionists,
speak like us and they look like us, but they do this with the Zionists.
Yeah. Again, money and control, and it's control. Money, control, power. It's
If a few of them just cut the oil pipes, just not even cut them, just loosen it a little bit. Just tighten it a little bit.
See, there's no way that this battle can be won against Israel if our own leaders, some of our own leaders, have become slaves to them.
Yeah.
You know, or what's even scarier, voluntarily wanting to work with them, because Israel obviously is making them money as well. It has to be, right? So it's a scary sight. But what angers me is that being an Australian, I mean, it shouldn't anger me. I mean, I should have seen it coming, being raised here, right? But more like I'm disappointed that, you know, the Australian government, a place that I've been living in, my family's been living in for generations, they don't have the backbone, the courage, the balls to say, you know, stop. You know,
they're funding it. They're doing it.
You know, because like Middle Eastern Australians has also contributed a lot to this country.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking back. You know, when we first immigrated back in the late 1800s to early 1900s, when they first came to this country, they brought a lot, and they helped Australia flourish. You know, and to be treated this way. You know,
because they always brought us as labor.
To be neglected like this, to not have a voice to speak for us. Like when Arabs speak for Arabs, okay, it's great. It's but it's not as strong as if somebody who's not an Arab to speak for Arabs.
See, but that's I think the illusion that was sold to like the older generations that lived here is that we thought we had a voice or that we thought we were the same. That was never a reality. That was never a reality. You were talking about how it was here after 9/11. I wasn't in this country when it happened. Like, they never liked us. We will never be like them. They will never look at us the same. Their buddies, the only brown people and black people and just people that they like are the ones that are rich like them, the ones that will benefit them, the ones that are in their pockets. They speak money. They don't speak all of these labels.
Yeah, but something like what really irritates me is they do realize the people who are accepting all of this bribery or accepting all of this money, who are voluntarily acting on behalf of Israel for the payday, does it not hit their heads like, you know, you're not going to live forever. You do know that one day you're going to die, whether it's natural causes or whatever. You can't take this with you.
Oh, I don't think they're
You know,
thinking that
do
far
they even
ahead.
think that far ahead?
No.
Like you know, because like every politician, every prime minister, every president, all right. You know, when they're making a speech, you know, they do involve God in their speech. You know,
Please.
God will be with us. God will help us
Please.
prevail, and all that kind of stuff. They're preaching religion sometimes. You know, during their especially when they want to invade. You know, God is with us. Almighty God is with us because, you know, God tells us that whatever. But the thing is, obviously they're using God, so they believe in God. All right, but if they truly do believe in God, does this notion not scare them? Because if they do believe in the life after this, whether, you know, afterlife or whatever, how can you have this on your conscience? The thing is, like if you know, I did something very horrible as a teenager. I did something incredibly horrible. All right, I was going to a taekwondo class. All right, and one of the little and I used to coach little kids, and one of these little kids found a $50 bill. And I was like, oh, you found it. It wasn't mine, but I tricked him saying it was mine. Right? And I felt so horrible so guilty. I said, "Kid, I was fucking with you. Here, take it." I couldn't take the money because it was tainted.
Yeah.
All right. It was only $50, right?
Yeah.
And I got greedy. Oh, this kid got $50. I'm gonna, I could outwit this kid, and I did.
Yeah.
All right. And after I trained him, and I saw the disappointment look on his face, what did I do? What did I do for $50? I mean, okay, $50. When I was 18, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like having like 200 today. If I saw it.
Yeah.
All right. So.
But to an 8-year-old, it was $1 million.
Yeah, pretty much. So I just gave it to him.
Yeah.
I said, here, because I couldn't live with myself for that. Now these people are being giving money in the millions, and knowing full well that in exchange for this money, hundreds of thousands of people are going to die. Because you're helping cover this lie. You're helping cover a lie.
Enable the genocide, not even enable the murder.
And to justify it.
Yeah.
And to continue pushing that narrative. How does that not eat away at you? How does that not eat away at your conscience? How does that not eat away in your heart, in your soul? How does it not affect you in that way? Maybe it does affect them, but they just choose to ignore it. They just choose to look the other way. They try to justify, hey, it's not us, it's them. This will never happen to us. We're white. We're in a white country. This can never happen to us.
I think I told you last time, I ran into Penny Wong a while ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's interesting.
In the street. And it was a random Sunday. I didn't even know she was in the country. And I was trying to find a car park. Someone stole my car park. So I was like, oh my God, like you took my car park. And I pulled somewhere else, and it was her and her daughter walking down. Wahyat Allah, I jumped out of the car. Like I left my keys in, and I pulled out my phone. I started recording. I was like, I've been asking to meet with you for weeks. My group and I, we've been protesting outside your office. And she goes to me, don't film. I'm with my daughter. I was like, I'm filming the ground. Don't worry. Like, I knew she'd use that. So I started talking to her. I was like, we've been asking to meet with you, cut the funding, end the genocide. And she goes to me, I just voted in the UN for a ceasefire. What do you want from me? What else do you want from me?
She's powerless.
No, nothing. There was no emotion.
Yeah.
There was, like you said, about their soul. Wallah, I don't think they have souls. For someone, like you said, what doesn't not eat at them? It eats at us looking at the footage of what's happening, of experiencing it. Like the trauma that lives with you of being under these powers. These people are enabling. Do you think there is something is within them that's alive for them to enable? This woman, I was looking at her, there was no emotion.
No, of course
There
not.
was nothing. And I've never been like that close to a politician of that status before. It did something to me. I swear to God, she walked off and I turned to a corner and I just sat down and I cried. Because up until that point, I legitimately thought they were human beings. And that was the day I think I really lost faith in all of them. Like in their humanity, in their ability to relate to us as humans. Because for her to stand there and say, I will support Israel. I have all that recorded. I'll show it to you after. I will support Israel. We'll never cut funding. We will never stop our support. With her whole chest.
She said that.
Well, I'll show you the video.
After she said
I've been saying all of this.
After she said that I just approved for a ceasefire.
Ceasefire at the UN.
Now she's
With her whole chest.
Now, how do you think that happened so easily, so quickly? How do you think she was persuaded to go to the other side so easily?
Years of money, years of power, of positioning.
Control.
You said these people believe in God. I think if you are a politician, you don't believe in God.
I think you have to be an atheist to be a politician.
I don't think but a politician under capitalism, under this system. I feel the Greens and independents, people that are doing it because they see that this is the only way to help us through the law, that's a different story. But these politicians, these people, there's no humanity. For them to see this, we're 11 months, we're almost a year into this. Nothing. There's nothing. Penny Wong had her freaking wedding in the middle of all of this. We were literally.
Well, you got to get married sometime.
On Sunday. She's
yeah.
with her partner for years, and like Albanese was here. All these people were like in the state, and everyone was like, "Why are they here for?" We found out that morning it was her wedding while we were protesting.
That's just incredibly insane.
And she wore the ugliest red suit. If you're gonna get bribed by the Israelis, at least wear something nice. At least do something with yourself. She looked so. And it reflects their evil, legitimately reflects. There's no soul with these people. There's I don't know how to explain it. They're just evil.
Yeah, that's evil to its core. See now, that's disappointing. That's incredibly disappointing. I mean, we actually thought Penny Wong was that little light of hope that she's speaking on the behalf of the Palestinians. That she's showing support. That she wants a ceasefire. That she wants Australia to recognize Palestine. and for that to just be taken away in a blink of an eye, like
It just shows it was never genuine.
it was never genuine. You know,
They never planned to take this the long way.
it was a performative statement.
That's liberals for you.
You know, performative.
You just described
You
liberalism.
know?
There you go.
All right, like showing concern but not being concerned, showing sympathy when you have no heart whatsoever, where you don't really care. You know that. So that's just it's a terrible notion. You know, like what hope do we have left? I mean, that's what I feel that this is hopeless. I mean, it's hopeless for the Palestinians. It's hopeless. It's hopeless. I mean, how many more have to die? What is there left to even blow up? I mean, haven't they taken care of what's left?
They're
What's
calculating
left?
it's going to take 20 years to remove just the rebel.
20,
Not even the rebel.
20 years.
Just to remove everything that they've blown up.
20 fucking years to remove rubble. How much more destruction do they need to do? I mean, what are they going? I can't comprehend how much
The psychological effects.
When's enough? When's there going to be enough? You know,
Like, what type of psychology are we going to need to research to fix these people mentally?
no, it's gone.
For
It's
people
gone.
to say, we met someone when we were protesting in the city one day, they've just moved here from Gaza. They were in the genocide for 8 months. One of the girls, I will never forget this. She said, the first thing we noticed about Australia, the air did not smell like blood anymore. It did not smell like dead bodies anymore. How are you going to rewire these people's psyche to make them normal again? These are not going to be normal parents, normal adults. How do you become normal? What therapy do you go to? What psychological help is there to assist these people, let alone to rebuild their whole lives again?
I don't think anything like that kind of exists at this point.
Like,
because
legitimately.
they can't. I mean, what psychiatrist has ever gone through such trauma that they can help people like that, you know, go through it, you know, help them out of it. Unless the very few of the Palestinians who suffered this became psychiatrists themselves, right?
God.
But what are the chances of that, right? I mean, you know, people, you ask children what do they want to be when they grow up, and they give you all of these answers. You ask a Palestinian child, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I want to be alive. I want to be alive to see my next birthday. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, they have dreams as well to be something, but right now they just want to live. They're just clinging on to life in a way that, you know, the way that we can't see it. I mean, we take everything that we have for granted because we know that we're not gonna ever see anything this horrific happen to us. Okay, we are grateful. We are happy to be living in a Western country where things like this is very unlikely to happen. But put yourself in that position.
That's the other thing, actually. I don't think that's the arrogance we were talking about before. We should think it would happen to us.
Yeah.
We should be acting, okay, if this was to happen here, what are we going to do? We can't be this detached.
I can tell you right now, no Western country is prepared for this ever. All right. No, that would many of them would just kill themselves, let alone to cling on to life.
Reason why this is my hypothesis. This country is so zombie-like in their activism, in their politics. They've never suffered a war. They've never been invaded.
No.
They've been genocided the indigenous people of this country, and they've sat here. That's been this existence of this continent. The trauma that's been enforced here, you see in the indigenous population of these people. Those Europeans that came and settled here, they've never suffered anything. If this gets invaded, if this land gets invaded, they'll pack up their shit and they leave.
Oh, of course.
Like the Israelis are.
Israelis are leaving. Israelis are fleeing. Right, by the thousands. They are fleeing by the thousands. And you know what's even an extra fun fact? There are many countries around the world that are not accepting any flights coming in from Israel.
About time.
You know,
About damn
right?
time.
Right? And it's like, no, you can't come live here. You can't come and stay here. You can't even come and visit here.
Good.
All right? You know, because of what's happening. And if it's truly their land, what the fuck are you doing running away?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing fleeing?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you feel like it's your land, your country, and you're entitled to being
You've
there.
moved there from
right?
somewhere.
You know, you will die there because it's yours. The Palestinians have proven they are dying there. It shows who wants. It's not showing who wants it more. It's showing who belongs there.
Who's
more.
willing to die for it?
They are. Well, they got no other. Well, they got any other choice. But they are willingly to die for it. They're not afraid of death. Palestinians aren't afraid to die because they know they're already dead. They're already dead. How are you going to put that fear in them? They fear for their children. They fear for their homes. They don't fear for their lives as much as they used to anymore. Because you know what? When you grow up, when you're born a Palestinian, this is what's going to happen to you. Get used to it now, all right? And they are born with that. You see children, Palestinian children and girls. You know, they stand up to the Israeli soldiers, all right? They standing up to them. I saw one girl yelling and pointing, you know, at them. Like, how ballsy is that? How courageous is that?
That's what I meant when I said we are generations of people that have fought these powers.
You got children here scared of their own shadow.
That's what I mean. Like,
You know?
they will never understand.
They can't.
I
mean,
feel like this our aggression, actually, funnily enough, being in the activist space in here, you see a lot of, I want to say, like, white Australians or privileged people that are not from our backgrounds.
you can say whitey. Whitey is fine. You can call them white
but
Australians.
no, but it's not just white people. Honestly, a lot of second, third generation privileged Arabs that have no attachment to
Yeah.
the homeland, whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Silver spoons. You know what I mean? Like, very far detached from everything. And you sit to them and you say, look after yourself. Look after your mental health. What do we have to look after ourselves for? We have functioning hospitals. 15 minutes, any of us can walk into a hospital that's fully functioning and you can get serviced for free. We have doctors that are alive. We have roads that are functioning. I feel like there is such a sense of comfortability here that you cannot shake. Like, people get a bit of, like this was too much. 3 weeks, they disappeared. I need time off for my mental health. Do you know the reason I started organizing is because people wanted to take a break last year after October 7th, over the Christmas break. And someone who's a big organizer in the state looked me in the eyes and said to me, we're not going to do anything for the next 3 weeks because people need a break. And I just looked back and I said, what do we as privileged motherfuckers living here that get to have Christmas with their family, weather's completely fine, what do we have to take a break from? There's no bombs dropping on us.
Yeah.
We're not losing each other by the minute. We're not counting down. We saw videos of people digging their own literal graves. There was an old man that bought plants that he liked and he was planting them where his grave is so his family could find him afterwards from the plants. Like, the cognitive dissonance with people that live in this society versus what we've seen and what's actually happening on the ground there drives me insane. Drives me, like, actually insane. And you get the whole, you're an angry Arab. Because their level of calmness does not match my level of anger. You get the whole, you're angry. Like, just relax. It's happening too far. Just take some time off your phone.
Now, when somebody comes up with that, we need a break. Do you think it feels like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't put my life on pause anymore. You know, I've done long enough. I contributed long enough. I feel like I've done enough for my part. All right. I want to stop because I want to get back on with my life, which is a fair assumption to make. You know, but the thing is, like, it really depends on how involved you are in your heart about this. Like, now, me as an Arab, I can never say I want to take a break. I can't because it's happening to my people. You know what I mean? All right. But I think for them to say that, it's because they probably only thought it's only going to last a couple of weeks. They had no idea it was going to go this long.
It's a trend.
All right. And how many? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a very interesting point. When people go out to protest, you even see students from school. They take breaks from school or they skip school to protest. How many of those people that are protesting really legitimate about the whole situation? Many of them probably do it. I just want to get out of school. You know, I don't want to go. I had a test today. Screw it. I'm on a protest instead. You know, how many of them are truly legitimate, and how many of them are just there because they want to get their picture in the paper or be in a video or whatever?
Yeah.
You know, and so, I mean, it's definitely something to think about, which is probably why they said we need to take a break, because maybe their hearts weren't in it from the beginning. You know, anybody who's anybody, when something like this happens, you don't stop until it stops.
But it's such a privileged thing to say as well. It's so privileged to think that, like, I can make change. I've got the resources, the ability, the outreach to make change, but I will take a break. I don't know. It's so privileged. I've got a younger brother who was born here. He was born here years after we moved here. And he's same parents as mine, same DNA, everything. He's not going to have our life. He's not going to walk around the same Iraqi that I am. He's not the same Kurd that I am. He has never experienced war. He will never experience war, inshallah. But for him to say, for him to walk around and say, yes, this is my country, I deserve this. His experience is not the same.
No, of course
The
not.
way he's going to feel about what's happening right now is not the same way that me and my parents and my siblings who went through it are going to feel. And that dissonance itself, it's fair that you don't understand it. It's not your first-hand experience. Completely different. That from you to sit back and say, I'll refuse to do anything with this because it's affecting me too much.
But being a member of your family, surely he's told stories about what you guys have gone through, how you what you went through before you came here, how you viewed life. That should stick with him, just by blood alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I doubt it very much that he's gonna grow up and say things like, oh, this is my country, whatever. He's not saying this already.
If he grows up to be a privilege.
Yeah, no. All right.
Never over my dead body.
Exactly. Right. No, there's nothing wrong with having privilege. Just
but like to be like a privileged, arrogant Arab man, that will never happen.
See, the thing is, the most important thing is to never forget where you came from. Never.
Yeah.
Never forget. All right. Money, success is not going to change anything. It's not going to change how you were raised and what you saw
and who
how
you are.
And who you are and who you're going to be.
Yeah.
People, because it's so easy to just surrender to that. You get the good life, you forget about the bad life. It's natural. All right, but we have to take it upon ourselves to have our own sense of pride to never let anything like that affect us.
You know what's funny? With my brother, one time I was walking in the shops with him and we went into Myers and I saw this dress and I went to look at the tag and I was like, oh, a lot. And I pushed like the tag back and he goes to me, oh, why don't you get it? I was like, oh, it's a lot of money. Like, leave it. He's like, just get mom's blue card. You can tap it and it will buy you anything. I looked at this kid. I was like, I grew up with parents who are refugees and you're growing up with parents whose blue card gets you anything.
Yeah.
Like, even our upbringing, we have different parents.
No, okay, of course. Well,
it's things, but it's like things like this where even his upbringing from like the get-go, yes, he will hear stories. He was never a refugee. He will hear, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, thank God he wasn't,
Exactly.
I mean,
it's not a thing that you want for kids, obviously.
No.
But it's understanding how this rage in some people is so much more personal. It is so much more intense because they've seen it and they've went through it.
And the thing is, right now, it's getting even more outrageous because we were promised as a people that sanctions were going to be taken on Israel, that arrest warrants were going to be issued, and that they were going
They've issued them.
No, they've issued them, but they haven't followed through. They haven't arrested nobody. Right? Just like George Bush that gotten away with murdering 1 million people in Iraq with his administration, with the help of the UK. 2 million, was it?
Yeah.
Was it 2 million?
2 million.
I thought it was 1.
It's 2 million
2
Iraqis.
million Iraqis.
Yeah.
Shit. Because I heard that George Galloway,
Yeah.
he was saying you murdered 1 million people in Iraq.
It's 2.
I had no idea it was 2.
Yeah.
Right? He's gotten away with it. They've gotten away with it.
It was according to the UN Charter, it was a genocide.
And they've gotten away with it. Yeah. How's this going to be any different?
You know what's crazy? The Iraqi resistance right now is going after the American bases in Iraq.
Yeah, good.
They're calling it terrorism.
No, it's not.
Brother, you're on our land. You have bases on our land, and our resistance is telling you, get the fuck out, and you're calling us terrorists?
Just because white America, a white country that dictates, oh, you are a terrorist, doesn't make it fucking so.
Yeah.
Right? That's like the... isn't that the kettle calling the coffee black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what you're saying, you're describing your fucking self. All right.
If we're terrorists, why are you giving weapons to Israel? If
money,
we're the bad guys,
money. Look.
Stop sending weapons.
They're making money from both sides. Like in what everyone said that history is trying to convince us, trying to make us believe. America's trying to make us believe that America won World War II. Bullshit. The Russians won World War II. The Russians were the one that starved the Germans when Germans tried to invade Russia, right? During the winter, right? They set that trap and they slaughtered them all, right? The war was basically won. America's contribution came towards the end of World War II, right? Because they were talking for years how they didn't want to join it.
Yeah.
But they were selling arms to both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Making money from both sides, right? And after the Japanese surrendered. They dropped 2, not 1, but 2 atomic bombs. that affected them decades
That's
later.
what they take pride in.
You
That's
know?
how they
Yeah.
see themselves
You know,
victorious.
Yes, exactly
It's the
right.
atomic bombs.
They bombed a country that had surrendered. You guys win. Yeah, but this is for make sure that you don't ever fuck with us anymore. Bam. What was the point? There was no point whatsoever.
And they call us terrorists.
And they call us terrorists. They have the right. They think they have the right to call us terrorists. White America is terrorist, and who helps the white America? The UK help, and Australia are forced to because they got no other choice. They don't have an
It's
army.
a part of the British
It's,
Empire.
you know,
We're still the Commonwealth. Their flag
but
is
the
still
thing
on
is,
this country's flag.
What is mind-boggling is the cultures in the UK and the Australia and the US are completely different. We don't have the same mentality. We don't think the same way they do. Maybe the British and Australians more relatable because they're both Commonwealth countries. The British came and they sent all the criminals to Australia to flourish, to become a country. So we do have something in common, but we are completely different to America's mentality, America's way of thinking. We are completely different, right? We don't see the world the way they see it. I mean, we can stop to think. They just want to act and then ask questions later. Shoot now, ask questions later.
I think you're talking about it from like the population perspective.
Yeah, but it's vastly different. But even political views are vastly different. But like I told you earlier, when it comes to the Zionist regime, control, money, power, that everybody's on the same page because of that.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the war now in Lebanon, which is going to escalate more, obviously. It's going to be a very stupid question what I'm about to ask, but it's a fair question. What took Israel 18 years to want to invade Lebanon again? Because they used to invade Lebanon at least twice a decade, 2 times per decade, or once per decade. Now, the last time they invaded was in 2006. What took them 18 years to come again? Because they normally come every 10 years because they need their funding. They need their money.
They need Daddy America.
There's nothing going on. You know what? We're not going to get as much as we got last year. We better fucking start bombing Lebanon again. Right? So that's why they went. And what happened? They got their asses kicked. Hezbollah destroyed them. Right? And I remember the video on the last day of war. Right? They had only 18 more hours left to bomb each other. And they kept on firing bombs constantly for 18 hours. And they walked to the camera. Yes, we won. What the fuck did you win? Hezbollah is still there. Lebanon is still standing.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever. What the fuck did you win? I think it took them 18 years because of the onslaught they suffered in 2006. They got their asses destroyed.
Yeah.
Israel, to this day, have never been able to defeat Hezbollah, who they created, by the way. They created Hezbollah. They were the inspiration for Hezbollah to become Hezbollah. And they never will.
But the resistance groups only get created in response to oppression.
Exactly.
Hamas, Hezbollah, the acts of resistance.
Israel invaded Lebanon in 82 to 84. Hezbollah was formed in 83. In 83 to 84, Hezbollah fought back and they drove the Israelis away. They even drove away off the Americans when they tried to help out.
Yeah.
All right. Americans came in, I think, in 83 when Hezbollah was formed, and America got slaughtered on their first couple of days that they were there. They didn't send any more people. They said, "Fuck this! What did we just die for? What did I just sacrifice my troops for?" They got slaughtered immediately. Like, even when Lebanon was having its own civil war, it's like you're seeing a couple that are arguing. If you see a couple arguing amongst themselves and you try to intervene, hey, what are you guys arguing about? Both of them will turn on you. They'll put their different sides. They fuck off. That's exactly what happened in Lebanon. Lebanon were fighting amongst each other. Then these people came and they started fighting. Then piss off. This is our problem. We don't want you to intervene. And every country has the right to create their own problems and make their own solutions without any outside interference.
That's sovereignty. That is a God-given right to every country.
And Israel, with the help of the US, are wanting to take that away from them. Netanyahu had the audacity to say that Lebanon is not a real country. It's not a real country. Well, who the fuck are you? 76 years old piece of country shit. Who the fuck are you? Right? Who are you to say that we are not real countries?
Like, what's he going to start denying Syria, Iraq next? Like, what?
Again, I think this is a confession. Oh, because we're only 76 years old, we're technically not a real country ourselves.
Oh my God.
Right? Okay, but he has the audacity to say this because he's got all the political power in the world. Maybe I think he's just prolonging this. We already knew what his intentions were in Palestine, so that he can avoid hopefully the inevitable prosecution. All right. But taking it to Lebanon now, it's creating more of a shield for him.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Because now the country needs him if there's going to be war in Lebanon. They can't change prime ministers now after he started this shit, you know? All right? But is this all just a ploy for him not to face the consequences? Is this a whole ploy for the ICJ to postpone them to actually arrest
It's
him?
all of them. It's the NRA in America pushing the American government to say, yes, keep going because we need to sell more weapons, line our pockets. It's all these weapon companies, the land forces that was here in Victoria. It's all of these money-making machines that it needs blood. Capitalism needs blood to keep the wheels rolling.
Now, if the ICJ were genuinely serious about arresting Netanyahu, why the hell did they not take the best opportunity and catch him when he made that horrible talk to the Congress in the US?
Because America itself has to arrest him. It's not the UN doesn't have like officers. It's when you land in that country, the country would have to arrest you. So Putin has an arrest against him in Brazil and a few other countries. So if he lands in Brazil, the Brazilian government has to catch him and hand him to the UN. They're not doing that to Netanyahu or his buddies. Do you really think that he would have landed and America would not have rioted?
Well, you know what? You know what? Then the sanctions and arrest warrants should be put on those who are harboring him, who are protecting him.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's the whole plan.
All of them.
That's all these what international lawyers are doing by
All of them.
making all of these Albanese, Penny Wong, all of these other international figures
they should all
complicit in this. It is complicity.
They're all accountable. They all should be held
It is
accountable.
complicity.
All right, they all should be held
Set
accountable.
the Nuremberg trials again, but for all these people.
The thing is, as much as I want to believe that such a thing can happen, it's just not.
This is going to be a bloody one. This is not going to be a civil end of this. This is not going to be a sit in court. This is going to be a French Revolution in this generation.
Do you riot? I'm surprised that riots haven't broken out worldwide. Like there are I'm so infuriated about this whole thing that I even got the idea. Look, if we can't hurt them there, if they're not allowing us to do anything to fight back to hurt them, okay, we're boycotting. Right? That's just like a slap in the face. It's nothing major. Yeah. They're not being truly hurt. They're protected there. What about the Israelis that live outside of Israel? Why should they be protected outside of Israel? If I had an Israeli neighbor that's a Zionist, I'm going to do my life mission to make that person miserable to be here. Right? Just to take something back. I feel like I want to do something. I mean, I would love to sign up. I want to fight. Give me a gun. I know I can get 2 or 3 of them before they get me. Right? Me not being a Palestinian, but it's affecting me.
But
so
they
much
are sending them back.
I want to do something.
They're sending the IOF soldiers back here to live in our society among us.
No. They should not have that fucking right. All right? We should go to their homes and invade their homes the way they've invaded ours. But obviously, because we live in a Western country, don't get caught. You know, because you get, but the feeling, I just feel like I want to do something. If they were here, I'd want to do something. Just anything. Throw eggs at their house. Just something.
There's been petitions, like people sign petitions. Their IDs are sealed because this government protects them. So you don't get full names. You don't get anything.
The thing is, like, if there was some kind of a group or a society that was determined to go all Inglorious Bastards on their asses. Have you ever seen that movie, Inglorious Bastards? To go Inglorious Bastards on them. To freaking carve the Star of David on their forehead or something. Okay, I'm going a bit extreme. But what I'm saying is, if we can send a message or if we can show something to hit Israel, saying that your people outside your own country are no longer safe because of what you are doing.
What we have is political power and social pressure. That's it. Cut visas. You can't travel here. You can't enter here. We don't want you here.
But are they enforcing it everywhere? They're just maybe in a couple of places.
But it's a process.
It's a process. But how many people are dying before we actually achieve anything?
And that's where our leaders are not coming in. That's when we don't know how much pressure. We don't know what to do.
Like you said, that woman, one of your protesters said, I want to take a break. Maybe eventually they're going to say, you know what? We're going to take a break. We've done all we could and we haven't even scratched the surface, but there's no way that we can reach our goal. I mean, aren't you afraid that something like this can happen that came from the people that have the power to do this? And all of a sudden it's not worth it. It's not worth it anymore. I know these people died. I feel horrible that they died. But we can't do anything because it's hopeless. It is hopeless. It is utterly freaking hopeless.
I don't think it's hopeless. I think just the Palestinians being alive, that is example and like a living example for us to keep going. As long as they're still alive and they're fighting on the ground, we have to do the same.
I agree, but sadly, not everybody is determined to 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 push forward with that.
Too bad it's not affecting the Palestinians only, it's affecting
know.
us too.
No, I think it's. I don't. I think you don't have to be a Palestinian or an Arab per se for this to affect you. It can't, right? Because you have to take away. You have to take this phrase away. Palestinian lives. When you say Palestinian lives, no one's going to care. When you just say lives, lives are being lost. Right, then it might raise an eyebrow.
Not even that. Honestly, I'm past that point. They don't see us as humans. We were talking about it.
Yeah,
I talk to white people, to this society, about money. No, literally, nothing else got to them. Nothing else. Photos, bloodied children, beheaded babies that they tried to use as an excuse to invade Gaza in the first place. Nothing got to the society like talking to them about money. So your tax is paying for this, your HEX is paying for this, your university degree is paying for this, and they will listen. They do not care about anything else aside from their pocket.
Well, the best way to hurt white people is to hurt their wallets.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like nothing else is getting to them aside like they don't see us as human beings. When you say these are boycotts, I saw it in my protests in the city during my exhibition. All these like older, richer white men, you can tell from how they look. They don't give a flying fuck about Palestinian lives. But and one of them literally goes to me, he goes, I know what apartheid looks like. I've been to Israel. I'm actually South African. I was like, you are white. You do not know what apartheid looked like in South Africa. Like, you cannot convince me that you are on the other side of the coin. I said, you are what the equivalent of the Israelis in Palestine right now. I said, that's what you are. So you cannot turn around and say to me, I did not see apartheid over there because I did not see with my own eyes in South Africa. How could you recognize it in Palestine if you did not recognize it in South Africa?
I'm glad you made that point because I just want to say one more time for people who are watching to really go on YouTube and watch this video open to debate between Mehdi Hassan and
Elon
Levy. All right, because
just one thing about Mehdi before we go forward. He's a bit of a lib as well. He's not a supporter of the resistance.
But you know what? He is the strongest voice that we have in media today that supports us.
He is.
Right?
Like, as a journalist,
he has opened up the minds of non-Arabs to this issue, and him with the help of Bassem Youssef as well.
Yeah, true.
All right. Now, the one thing that he said in this debate, which I agree with completely, he goes, he said, if you support Israel, you're a sociopath. All right. I mean, you can't make it any more clearer than that because supporting Israel means you are for the genocide. You are for dehumanization of Arabs. You are for wanting to eliminate Muslims and take more of their property and the fact that you celebrate it. So if you support Israel, you are a sociopath. Now, I can understand patriotism.
Yeah.
All right. I love my country. My country did wrong, but I'm going to stick by my country. I can understand that. Right? Lebanon has done many wrong things, but I stood by it. But I also spoke against it when they did something that I disagreed with. To have the courage to speak against your own country when they're doing something wrong, right? That doesn't make you weak. That makes you strong. That makes you like a person who has self-dignity and
that
pride.
Makes you a member of society.
Makes you a member of society. To go with what your country does, right or wrong, but just blindly go through it, makes you a slave, makes you a sociopath, makes you inhumane. Right?
My husband's family is German, and his grandparents left Germany when World War II started happening because they said, we're not living with this. We will not be living in a country that's doing this. So they left and they moved here.
Yeah, because many Germans that didn't have that right, that didn't have the opportunity to leave, they were given a choice. You either become a Nazi or we shoot you where you stand. You either join us or you get killed. Many Nazis that were Nazis, they weren't voluntary Nazis. They said, okay, we'll fight, and I just hope that I don't die because I want to go back home to my family. You know, because they knew they were going to be.
That's not my forgiveness or explanation to give, but for this topic in particular,
yeah. So again, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with speaking against your own country. Actually, it takes bravery, it takes strength.
But speaking up against it and living next to a concentration camp is two different things. Like the Germans, like my husband's family, they could not live in a place where there were concentration camps being set up where people were being gassed around them. They couldn't live in that society. So they left because they had the choice. And a lot of people that live in Israel right now, they do have the choice to leave, but they're living on that land because they're profiting of the blood and the slaughter and the apartheid that's happening in that land. They've got businesses, they get free healthcare, free education, free transport. Why would they not want to live there? You talk on taxes or from American people, from the Australian government, from literally Western countries. They get to live in a utopia that it's been built for them on the mass graves of Palestinians.
I've got nothing to say. I'm just shocked about the whole idea. I can't comprehend anymore. You know, like I see these images. I try to avoid seeing these images, but I can't because when I turn on my computer, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, I got a YouTube page. I go to my YouTube, it's there. There's something new happening. There's something else happening. And you just can't turn your head away. I do my best to, but it's like it calls to me. It's like, no, man, no, just know what's going on.
Can't ignore
because,
it, yeah.
Because the thing is, whatever is going on in your life right now is not as big as what's going on here. You know, no matter what you're going through, it's not as traumatizing or as complicated or as horrifying or as a big deal as what's going on here.
It really puts things into perspective.
It
really does.
I don't consider my problems to be problems because there aren't. These are just
inconveniences.
You know,
Literally.
fine, okay, maybe an inconvenience,
Yeah.
but I'd rather have that than what's going on. But the thing is, like, for anybody that chooses to ignore, they are obviously in denial of what is really happening. And in a way, I admire them because they're living their lives and they're happy. You know what I mean? I want to go back to living my life and being content. I'm a self-content person. I am. All right, but I can't turn my head away the way many people can. Right?
Yeah.
Many people just don't have an agenda. I don't care. Fuck Israel and fuck Palestine. Fuck them all. I don't care. You got those kinds of people. I don't know why he's an Australian. I do that Australian accent. Right? It's just that I'm just so used to.
No, that's true.
It's just that I'm just so used to hearing that from them. Right? Like I in a way I do admire them. I envy that. But in my good graces, I just can't turn my head away. I just can't. It's like hearing an infant cry. Right? It's like if you found a baby on the ground crying because it got abandoned by its parents, for example, and it was crying. Can you turn away? Can you walk past it and not pick that child up? Can you do it? I'm sure there are people that can. I just think they're soulless, heartless human beings.
Israelis.
Okay, that's an Israeli thing to do. That's a very Israeli thing to do, or a very white thing to do, right? A controlled Zionist white thing to do. But if anybody who would see an infant that's crying on the, and we're talking about like a month-old. Even if you're not a father or a mother, you've never been a parent in your life. Even if you were a 15-year-old kid and you saw that, you'd pick it up. You'd take it somewhere. I found this. Do something. At least you would not walk past it, and that's what's happening right now. People are seeing this and they're just scrolling by. And neglecting it and forgetting it. And this is something that never needs to be forgotten. You know how Americans say, we will never forget what happened in 9/11. Never forget, never forget, never forget. Right? Well, don't turn your heads on this because what's happening right now is a billion times worse than what happened in 9/11. I'm not trying to compare tragedies. All right? But the
scale-wise,
death toll, you can't compare it.
Yeah.
All right? So if you guys really want to know more about this, please go on YouTube and watch the open debate between Mehdi Hassan and Elon Levy. I keep getting that guy's name wrong. Maybe I get it wrong because he's wrong all the time.
No one cares. Yeah,
all right, because this man's wrong all the time. But this debate will definitely open your mind to see what really is going on. To get more insightful about the situation, because we need more awareness, we need more people, and we need to recruit numbers. The way Israel's recruiting soldiers to kill, we need to recruit people to be aware and to understand so that we can try to fight the system from the inside. That's all I'm trying to say here. That's the only weapon we got left. The only weapon that we have left is the knowledge, the self-awareness, and to just participate in any way that you can. Even something as small as this podcast, if it reached 2-3 people at least, that's something. That's like paying it forward. Maybe they can reach another 2-3 people or whatever. I
think that's the part that they've really tried hard to work on, is to minimize our effort. Like, what will protesting do? What has boycotting does? Boycotting freed South Africa.
Yeah.
It ended the apartheid of South Africa.
Yeah, but the thing, and
protesting freed black slavery. like ended slavery in America.
It's a one, and that's an unbelievable achievement. But Nelson Mandela said, "If the people of Palestine aren't free, then the people of South Africa aren't truly free."
True. None of us are free.
You know, so that was a win. But it was a small victory. But it was a battle. It wasn't a war. The war wasn't won. Just a small battle was won.
No, but like the apartheid system as it was
Yeah.
established. But but we're taken into. You're saying, what can we do? What we can do is boycott.
Yeah,
Listen to
continue.
BDS. Come to the protest every Sunday. Do what you can. See what local actions you have in your community. There are separate groups doing a whole bunch of things. We have healthcare workers organizing on the inside. We have students organizing.
Yeah.
There's so much in our human ability to do that. Our hearts are calling each other out.
Yeah.
All of us are finding each other. We met each other on the internet because this is insane.
No, exactly right. That's how we met. I was very interested in this topic, and I wanted to try to find somebody that was knowledgeable enough to have a conversation, to have a discussion about what's going on. And now that October 7th is basically around the corner, are you planning a mass protest on that day?
We actually have no plans just yet because this weekend there's a national action happening. So across Australia, there's going to be massive protests. But for the 7th, there should be something. Yeah,
I think there should be
something.
because it's the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
And people need to be aware. Like I don't think it should go silenced at all.
Yeah.
Because if anything, this is the perfect opportunity to as a reminder to remind people what happened and to continue the fight, to continue the protest, to make it stronger than it was when it first started. You know, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity for you to try to achieve that. And I want to be there.
Yeah,
And
that'd be cool.
I want to film it, and I want to, you know, and
Please, that'd be amazing.
people can reflect on how they felt in this past year. So, when's your next protest?
This Sunday. So
This
every
Sunday.
2
So
p.m.
this Sunday, we are the 25th. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
29th.
29th. So on the 29th, oh, well, hopefully, that means I have to edit this today and put it out there. All right. So, but every second Sunday, right? It's every second Sunday?
But there's a protest every Sunday.
Every Sunday here in Adelaide, starting at the Parliament House.
Yep.
At what time?
2 o'clock.
2 p.m. You guys got nothing to do on Sunday. And if you're church goers, you finish church before 2 p.m. All right. So make sure you join in the protest. Even as just an observer, you know, just go there, show your support, get aware, get educated about what's going on. And because we need all the help that we can get to try to beat this from the inside. All right. And thank you again for joining me.
Thank
I
you.
hope next time we have a third guest to discuss this, to get another point of view about this topic.
Yeah.
And you can always follow her on her Instagram. It's right there, the name. All right. And follow her artwork. She's an amazing artist, by the way.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
And
you.
you know what? Next time you come here, bring one of your art projects with you, and we can discuss it, how what it meant to you, why you made it, and all that kind of stuff, what it
Okay.
represents. And please join me again for next time. I've been your host, Majid and Dairy. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Majid and Dairy, and on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency. Until next time, take care. I'm broke, bitch.